with Chris Wade fighting the semifinals of the PFL playoffs once again. I believe you're you might be the only person to ever fight all 3 times in the semifinals. One, congratulations on getting there.
Thank you.
Tell us how it feel to get there and get this accomplishment. I know you're not done yet, but your goals are much further, but tell us how you feel.
I mean, I look at it like it is part of the process, like you said, toward the end game and the goal, the overarching goal, which is to win the belt. That's where I've taken my mind. My mind is not on being content with making the playoffs. I don't think my mind was ever there in the past 2 seasons, really, but this is a much different situation. This is a new weight class. I'm at 145. I'm a lot bigger now. A new mentality. I think you could see that I'm fighting different right now. I feel like I'm really on a roll. And it's also the experience, the taste of defeat that I have from years prior, where I've learned from this tournament and I know what it takes to win in this tournament. And I think that this is the year that I push through, and like I said, the focus is to win the belt. I want to be the champion, the 145-pound PFL champion 2021. So we're locked in.
Awesome. And you mentioned you're a new weight class, featherweight, 145. Do you feel stronger when you're in there? You look stronger. Do you feel, stronger?
Yeah, I definitely feel stronger. I feel like, this new weight class is paying dividends right away. I was pretty big at 55. Like I felt like I held my own, but at 145, I think I'm, Mobley's pretty big, but other than that, I think I'm the biggest guy in the weight class, and that's a huge deal when you go from fighting a lot of guys that are bigger than you, and you're just trying to hold your own, to now being one of the more powerful guys in the weight.
And you got your last fight, you got the knockout against your opponent, a nice head kick, and then you finish him. Do you feel like you got, the monkey off your shoulders by getting that? You kind of get that little bit of relief to show everyone you have the power in your hands and your feet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been so frustrating because for so long I've known that I have plenty of power in my knees, my kicks, and even my hands to knock someone out. With little gloves on, it can always go down. It was just like when you don't have confidence in those particular abilities, it's a lot harder for you to have a good performance there. So in kickboxing, I was using it as a vehicle to grapple, and now I'm looking to fight guys. So things have changed quite a bit there.
And you got a chance to see your opponent fight last time because you fought before him, Bubba Jenkins. What are your thoughts on his last performance?
I've been watching both of his performances this year, and the thing is, he's fighting a very familiar manner as to the way I've fought in the past, which is kind of like not to lose. He seems to use the first 2 rounds to control his opponent with wrestling, and kind of gives up the 3rd round, and he tries to skate by. He's an athletic guy. He could be explosive here and there, but I could tell from the way he's competing that he's not looking for a real dirty knockdown, drag out fight. He wants to finesse it, spend a minute or 2 floating around, find a body lock takedown, hang on a padlock for a minute or 2 so that he shows the judges, look, I was in control. Then he lets you get up, he floats around for the rest of the round, and he moves on. I think he's gonna have a real problem August 27th because I'm there. It's either you better kill me or you're going down yourself. The fights are not gonna, they're not gonna be grappling matches from here on out.
And I feel like this season so far, you've kind of, maybe not start off strong right away in the 1st, 2nd round, but the 3rd round, you really turn it on and put it to your opponents. Is that something like your cardio? Is that something different you've been working on, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Something that's always bothered me or plagued me in my fight career is being super explosive early and then being kind of tired in the third, where I'm like more moving away from my peak than I am like getting stronger. And I never got it because I always wrestled at a high level. We worked really hard and we outworked a lot of people. I have a good work ethic. So I just didn't get why I was fading a little bit. And this new weight class is taking a little bit of the muscle off me that I think demands that oxygen. And then also I'm doing a lot of long static cardio to get my weight down. And it's making me have endurance that those were runs and types of training sessions that I didn't necessarily go on earlier in my career. I was doing sprint work, a lot of like interval sprint work. And I find now, I'm looking back and I'm saying, why wasn't I just doing these nice long like wrestling style cardio runs? Because I have this new confidence like that I could stay in a guy's face for a full 15 minutes and just break them down. It feels so good. It's a freeing feeling to know that you have your cardio behind you and that the other guy's gonna wilt.
Absolutely, and I think you showed everyone, especially in the last couple fights, how strong your chin is. You're very durable. You took some heavy shots and just kept going forward. What are the challenges you think Bubba Jenkins presents? We know his wrestling pedigree. Is there anything that you think specifically that he really presents to you as a challenge?
I think that the challenge is going to be making this a fight and not the grappling match that he wants it to be. And when I say grappling match, I don't mean submission match where we're going to scramble and, throw arm bars and chokes and whatnot. I would be game for that. That's cool. His style is to like what Anthony Dizzy did to me. It's run me to the cage, squeeze on a body lock, show some knees so the ref doesn't pull you away, and hang on and kind of waste a fight away rather than to like fight the fight. And like I said, I've been there before. That was a style that I got in trouble for and that people gave me a hard time about. So I don't understand why he's walking around like Ric Flair, Macho Man Randy Savage, strutting around the events like he's been dropping people, because he's really just been hanging on to people. And I'm way too high level of a wrestler for that to happen. I'm not Bobby Moffett. I'm not, Lance, listen, has a very high wrestling pedigree as well, but he's a much different grappler than I am. He doesn't do as many things with his hips and scrambling wise as I do. So he's not going to get that straightforward wrestling match that he thinks he's going to be able to achieve.
Now, when you're in the tough situations in the cage, what runs through your mind? What inspires you? What motivates you? There's something that's running through your head. You're like, let me keep going. What is it that like gets you drive going?
Like the truth is, you're the first person that I'm really kind of explaining this to. Is I spent a lot of time in my career looking for that why, and I realized that I don't need that like why. I genuinely do enjoy fighting, and like I genuinely don't mind being hit. If anything, it pisses me off and it makes me want to kill the guy. The only thing that's like really kind of my kryptonite is fatigue. And when I was able to conquer that, and on top of that, basically spend a year to a year and a half focusing on my striking during COVID, I didn't just like sit and wait while gyms were closed. I was out seeking opportunities to get better at striking, first and foremost. So now I have this new I don't give a fuck mentality comboed in with newfound abilities on my feet and a new weight class. It's just like, I feel like it's the trifecta for me personally. So I don't go in there like, a lot of people tell me that. They're like, pretend that this person hurt your daughter. And like, I get it, and I understand like what they're trying to do. Like, this guy's not your friend, and then they're not. But I don't need that whole workup in my mind to like try to kill the guy in there. I'm going in there to TKO Bubba Jenkins for my legacy, for a belt, for $1 million. I don't need any other reasons. I'm taking that money home, and then we're gonna do whatever we want with it, just like I said.
Awesome. And 2 more questions before we wrap it up. What's one thing about you that nobody knows but you'd like to share? I know a lot of people in Long Island know you, but what's something you'd like to share that nobody knows about you?
Oof, that's a loaded question that nobody knows about me. Jeez. That I probably should have played baseball. I was really good at baseball, and I gave it up for like reasons around wrestling where it wasn't like the cool thing to do. It wasn't as like much machismo in baseball. A lot of times standing around and like, you know, kicking at the grass. So I gave up on it when I probably shouldn't have. Baseball people don't know that because they know me as like this wrestler and fighter, so they don't know that baseball was like my first passion, that my idol is Ken Griffey Jr., and that like basically I just spent my childhood breathing baseball.
You're a big Mets fan, right?
Yeah, I'm a huge Met fan. I fell out of love with it as a sport that I played, and it's something that even I seek the highest levels of this sport because I love to compete and whatnot, but I do hold regret sometimes when I see these guys batting .208 and making $300 million because they're like, you know, they had one good season. It really, I'm not saying guaranteeing you I would have been like at their level necessarily, but clearly I'm athletic and I can compete. So I do wish I explored that a little bit further.
And then the last question is, how do you, what can fans expect from you in this fight, and how do you see it going?
This has been something in the past. Like I've been like, expect fireworks and but really truly in this one, you're seeing 2 wrestlers on paper, right? And it's chalking up like it could be this grappling exchange, and I'm gonna bring the fight to this guy. I'm gonna be hitting him the entire time. So look for me to finish him via strikes. I got a little taste of blood in that regard, and it tastes good, and the people like it, and that's what I'm there to do, not let him hang around. So look for me to be in his face the entire time, following him literally everywhere, and throwing at him until he wears down and makes a mistake.
Awesome, Chris. Appreciate taking the time.
Of course, man. Always
Best of
for
luck.
you. Have a good one.